If you call me to paint a house, then I'm going to ask you a few questions naturally. I want to know if it's inside or outside. There's different procedures for each, of course. Different equipment that I need, and etc., etc. Outside it's ladders and weather and that kind of stuff. Inside it's more protection of the things that you have in the house, and it's more of a decorating idea. Now, if you want to know what I do after I show up, let's say you want the inside painted and you've picked, okay, I would like you to paint the living room, dining room, and kitchen area. Usually it's all one area, a great room or something like that. Then, of course, the first thing I'm going to do is move all your furniture into the middle of the room and cover it all and cover all the floors around. We'll tape up baseboards and remove switch plate covers, and if you haven't moved things off the counters, etc., then we'll adjust that, whatever needs to be done. A lot of preparation goes into the walls. Sometimes it's cleaning grease and foreign materials on it. Sometimes it's just sanding off loose dirt, etc., that's collected over the years. Holes or any type of damage that's in the walls over the years. I've learned how to approach it and fix it with economics in mind. You know, you can turn a small job into a major job, but I feel that it's always been my job to make it as little production as possible and as little cost as possible and get the best results that you can get. And people will keep calling you back if they feel that, you know, you're worth your hire. And that's paid off over the years. I have now been painting houses for 40 years. I am also the son of a house painter, so I mean it kind of runs in the blood. But when I got out of the military and I really wanted to do art, everybody said get a real job, and to me it was just a natural thing to do. The first job I got was painting a neighborhood Dairy Queen, and all the people driving through, seeing the paint job that I was doing on the Dairy Queen, were asking me to paint their house, and it just 40 years later, I'm still painting houses. I really like making ugly places look nice. There's an appeal to that. Unfortunately, I have to charge money for it. And that's my least favorite part. It'd be nice if just, Murph, go do this, and there was no worry about money or concern about money, just do the job. But everybody nowadays is concerned about the money. And painting is something that you can put off forever. So, I mean, I understand that. I'm about finished. I am gearing down. 40 years, I think, is enough. I would like to turn my artwork into a full-time job, and I have an idea of what I would like to do, whether or not I could do that, whether the job that I'm looking for is available. But when I was a kid, I was a little bit of an outcast when it came time to party, because I didn't drink, and I wasn't really kind of a party person, and I would take my sketchbook and sit in the corner, and I would start to draw characters, and that's what they were. They were just cartoonish images of the people at the party, and it was quite popular, and I'd have people lined up wanting me to do their character and even arguing who was next in line, etc. And, you know, after I did a few of them, it was fun, and I made money at it, but I didn't take it seriously. I had other things that I was really into when it came to art. I didn't do portraits or characters for a long time. I did a few caricatures for advertisement, different venues, business cards, etc., etc. And I forget, President Kennedy's portrait was one of the first one I did, and somebody said that I had a real knack for making it look like them, and then I started drawing one after the other, and eventually they were right. I could capture the person more and more, but what I find now is I look at someone and I say, what makes them them? I try to limit the detail. When I was younger, people said that my drawings and illustrations looked like a photograph, and I know that was a compliment, but I was trying to do art. I wasn't trying to do a photograph. Photographers did photos. So even now, I've sort of turned it around, and I use reference photos, but I try to take a two-dimensional photo and bring it to life and make that two-dimension a three-dimension in the pencil world. But I always want it to look like a pencil drawing. I don't want to cross that line to where it looks like a photograph. That's where my pencil is, and I kind of want to stay that way. As far as illustrations and things like that, I mean, give me an idea and I can run with it usually right away. Just give me a small idea and my imagination gets going and I can draw you up something. So I enjoy that aspect of it too, but I do enjoy the challenge of making a portrait look like the person. And it's like that game you used to play, what's different? Your drawing, and what's different between your drawing and what you're looking at? What's the difference? And you keep going until you don't see the difference, or the difference is you're creating that dimension, and now you see, well, okay, well, the difference is I've brought the face forward, or the nose is actually coming at you now instead of flat on the paper, and there's not that shadow from the flash that makes it look flat, etc., etc. So little details that you pick up on. I probably have more art stolen than most artists. If I had a nickel for every piece of art that was stolen, I'd be making money in a very, very strange way. But I'd be probably very well off. I have people that actually write and tell me that they have copies of my drawings and paintings and stuff like that. What do you do? It's too easy online nowadays. Musicians have the same problem. You know, once it's out there, people just think, it's free to copy. Which is unfortunate. I know a lot about paint itself. I know how it feels. I told them flavor it, but they won't. They laugh at me when I tell them flavor the paint. I mean, really, overspray, I get a lot. These huge glasses are my best shield because I can't tell you how many times I've taken them off and they've been just totally covered in paint, and all that paint is not in my eyes. So, and I've had the habit, as you see how large I call them my windshield. But I've been wearing them large like this since I was just a young guy. And styles have changed over the years. Sorry, I'm one of those guys, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. I was into dinosaurs. I love drawing dinosaurs. And I was 9 years old, and I just won my first award for drawing. I drew the Black Stallion. I drew this horse, Black Stallion, entered it into the library contest and won. And I was really impressed, but I thought dragons, but mostly dinosaurs, T-Rexes. I love drawing the T-Rex and all that. And Sputnik had been launched into space, first satellite. And space was totally black. There was blackness. There was stars out there, but it was just black space. And then Yuri Gagarin went in orbit around this space, around our planet. I was 10 years old, and that was it. That got my imagination going. Okay, there's more. And then I started adding light to space, realizing that if you light something up, and in certain nebulas and areas where there is sunlight, etc., there is light. It's reflective light. And I started seeing color where nobody had ever seen color before. And planets, of course, with imagination, it doesn't take much to imagine that there's other planets with life and existence, and it just kind of fed the imagination, and you keep going. Do you want to see more and more and more? And I was probably painting for a good 5 years before Hubble was launched and started taking pictures of what I had already been painting. To me, it was like, finally, everybody else gets to start seeing what I've been seeing in my imagination for years. And even now, the Hubble has opened people's eyes and they look at my paintings in a different way. But again, the Hubble is limited, and I can still see beyond what the Hubble can see. My next series of paintings will be that step beyond. But we haven't stopped, thank goodness, because now the Canadians are putting together a telescope that is incredibly strong, much stronger than even the Hubble, and it'll be able to look 100 times further with more detail. And it's probably another 6 years or so before that one will be launched. By that time, I will have paintings done and show them what they will be seeing. So that's sort of the nature of things if I live long enough. There's some that are 1,000 years into the future until we get out there and start mining and start developing colonies and cities in space and get our industry out there in space and start moving forward into space. I think that's what it's all about. That is our destiny, is to spread the seed, to go ye forth and multiply. I don't think it applies to just this planet, because, I mean, if we stay here and multiply, we're already overpopulated. So I think it is go into the universe and multiply and work your way through the universe. But I think it's going to take an incredible cooperation and an incredible trust. And I think that only comes from a foundation of good. I don't think really evil really can stand a chance if you want to live in a space environment, because it would be too easy to sacrifice the lives of all for someone who wasn't playing by the rules. And I'm not talking about the rules the government gets to adjust as they go. I'm talking about the rules of good, is what I'm talking. And I think through that cooperation, then I think we will do quite well. This painting is called Alien Pirates, and this is a painting of a river of asteroids. And in this river of asteroids, there are mining colonies, mining different materials in the different asteroids. And you have different races from all over the universe working together in cooperation, not only to mine the materials from the asteroids, but to smelt them into different products, and they're sold throughout the universe among all the different races. But in every good story, there's always a little cloud, a little bad weather, and in this particular case, we have an asteroid ship of pirates that have entered into this river here, and they're trying to steal the water from the miners. And in this particular case, the water in the asteroid field is frozen solid, and I call it an iceteroid. The miners protect their water fervently, and they have an incredible defense forces and a mechanism in place that anybody that enters into the river quickly meets their defenses. They got off a shot or two, but they won't last long in this community here. They're well protected. If you want a glimpse of the future, just have a look and drift off into space. You can see some of the different civilizations that live here and their different colonies. Every man for himself is not a way to run a planet. I don't know, it just seems to me that cooperation is a better way to do things. We all win. And I'm not talking communism or anything like that. I'm just talking about, let's set our goals to where we make things better for everybody. We start watching out for the people who don't have housing. We start watching out for the people who can't feed themselves. We start watching out for the people who can't keep up, and we help them to keep up. We help them to reach the future and reach out into the future.